All right. Hello, everybody. King of Mancini. That's a new follower. Cool. All right, let's get this thing popping. Let's get this thing popping. How's everybody doing? Welcome. We got another one. More repairs, more things to fix, more consoles to get saved. So on today's agenda, we have two things that I want to get through today. One, we have a Nintendo Switch Lite. And let me switch on over. We have a Nintendo Switch Lite that it looks like the owner tried to make an attempt to maybe replace the battery with an upgraded one. And I think they broke the header for the battery connector off the board. So this person was in urgent need of having this console fixed. So they requested that I work on it with expeditiously, as T.I. loves to say. It's his favorite word. So we have a new connector. Man, that thing is tiny. Also, I moved the overhead camera closer. People were mentioning they'd like to see more of what goes on down here at the bottom of the overview cam, so I moved it a little bit closer. I can't go any closer than this because it'll interfere with me swinging the microscope in and out of frame. So this is about the best compromise spot I have for now, and I did look into it. The GoPro does not have a zoom in function while recording. So you can set it one and done before you start recording. Technically I'm not recording right now with the GoPro itself, but even then it doesn't have any like zoom function. You can zoom in post and you can zoom in beforehand, but the zoom is only changing the width of the angle range. So that's not really a actual zoom in my opinion, but it is what it is. And the second thing on the agenda is getting to a PS5 I've had for a little while now that I have one more thing I want to try out on it. It has an issue where it's not necessarily overheating, but when you run the console under load, like you load a game up, like let's say any game that's somewhat demanding, like 2K or GTA or whatever, the console will crash. Like it just shuts off. No warning, no nothing. At first, when the customer explained it to me, I just assumed it was an overheating issue, but after going over and making sure the thermal paste was good, I now believe it's a power supply issue. Maybe under load, it just can't keep up with the energy demand, with the wattage demand, so it just drops out. Oh, actually, let me message the customer. Sorry, one moment. Yes. Yes. Wait. Alright, so he knows, so if he wants to tune in, he can. Alright, go ahead and turn my fan on underneath here. It's gonna get a little toasty. Let's crack this thing open. It's already open since it's been worked on already. Twitch and YouTube. Okay. Alright. Let's do it. Let's do it. Actually, let's inspect the part first. This component we got in. Boy, talk about tiny. Man, that is so small. You just see that? Does the camera even pick it up? No. You know, maybe in the future I'll get a nicer camera that can actually zoom in a bit better. You guys see that? How small that is? But that's the battery connector for the Nintendo Switch Lite. So we're gonna have to attempt to reconnect this to the board, because I think the original one just got broken in two, which he included. I asked him to include it so I could like reference it. I don't need this anymore. Throw that away. Which he taped, thankfully taped it on. And yeah, it looks like a direct replacement for the connector, so that's good. Alright, let's go ahead and crack this thing open. Get my spudger. Yeah, the music seems loud. No, it's set to the right percentage, so that should be good. Oh, actually, there's another person I want to let know that I am live. Man, do you guys get these scam callers from the DMV talking about some you have overdue tolls? That junk is annoying, man. Like if scammers only use their ability for good, we'd be so much better off as a society. Talk about annoying. Alright. So since they already cracked it open, they didn't fully seal it back, so that's good. That assists me a little bit without having. The one thing about the Switch Lite is around the game card slot, that little tab of plastic tends to like to break. So I just try to be as careful as I can with the clips. Okay, that looks good. Alright, looks like it came off pretty well. I don't want to lose the screws. Okay, he has all the screws there. I'm going to put this to the side. Let's keep on chucking. Now I'm going to just get this out of my way so I don't have to worry about it. Just removing the ribbon cable here for the power button and the volume buttons. It's the volume up, down, and power. Alright, just put this to the side. And it's so nice having workbench made of wood, because I don't have to worry about, like, it's soft enough but sturdy enough, you know, so you don't have to worry about something scratching or something like that. Oh, it looks like he got thermal paste on his finger and touched the SD card reader. I'll clean that off soon. Alright, let's go ahead and change our screw for these Nintendo Switch Lite screws. Love that magnetic mat. Why iFixit? iFixit, sponsor me, please. Speak it into existence, they say. Manifest, they say. All that cringe junk. Just be good. Usually if you're nice, people come around, right? Like, Jordan wouldn't have been as famous if he wasn't as good at the game. It really works like that. People want to see cool things, so do cool things. Okay. Alright, we have a screw in the center here. Okay, it's not too bad. Compound the clean that and reapply. Oh yeah, that battery connector has been broken clean off the board. This will definitely be something I will show underneath the microscope. Okay, he did not put the connector back down, so it seems to be just up. Okay. Oh man, it would be so nice if I could just solder it like this. instead of having to remove the whole motherboard. Let's see what I can do, but man, oh man, I just don't want to burn anything. Actually, here, let me just remove this cable. Maybe that'll make enough clearance for me. Oh, they do use adhesive. Alright, let me see if I can get behind that adhesive without damaging anything. Got my flat spudger. Let's see how strong this adhesive is. And it's an awkward angle. It's an angle that's lends itself to causing some damage. I might be able to just get around it, honestly. Let's see, is this tip the tip I want to use? I might want to use a conical tip. Funny enough, I was having a whole debate with my instructor of how conical tips are a waste of time, and he was like, really? That's my favorite tip? And literally, that was for the rest of the class that he just kept bringing it up, because he was such a huge fan of conical tips, and I'm like, conical tips suck. Wedge tips are the best tips, like the chisel, or not wedge or chisel, what they're usually called chisel tips, they're the best, because the way they spread heat, to me, is optimal for nearly any application. Alright, let's take a look at it under the microscope. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, let's go over to microscope view. Alright, so let me show you guys what I'm really working with here. Alright, ribbon cable's blocking it. Here. Let's zoom out. Let's see. Let's focus this up. Boom. So this is the connector that got ripped off. Now thankfully, no pads were ripped, so no trace damage is present. So that's really good, at least from what I can see so far. Yeah, it looks like it was a clean break, which is what you want in this type of situation. Obviously, you'd hate for the situation to occur in the first place, but if you gotta have this situation, this is about how I would want it. So I'm going to add some solder to these points. And the battery connector looks to be intact as well. So okay, this was a clean break. Need to find a way to keep this out of my way. Let me see if I could just tape this down somewhere, just so it stays out of my way. I do not want to touch that with my iron at all. Let's cut a piece of tape. Tape it to the back side, to the screen. Let's make sure there's not too much tension on it. No, that looks fine. Alright, sweet. Have my conical tip in. Or my nano soldering iron station. So this heats up. Nice. What I want to do is add flux and some fresh solder. Add the flux first. So we have the 2 anchor points, which is what those big pads on the top and bottom are, and then we have the 3 points to actually carry the voltage from the battery to the PCB. So we have 1, 2, 3, and the 2 anchor points. Because of the angle of this, I'm going to rotate this, because this angle will allow me to work better, because I'm right-handed, of course. I talk about this all the time. You have to think about these things when you want to solder. About your angle of entry is what I call it. All of that matters. Your angle of entry matters. Also, if I sound a little rough dealing with some type of cold, that's good. good. Let's do this. See, this is why I'm not a fan of conical tips. I just feel like they don't transfer heat the way you want it to. Hey Dad, welcome to the stream. Alright, let's get some fresh solder on these anchor points. I might end up switching back to my knife tip because I'm not a fan of these tips, man. But we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Just want to get some fresh solder to work with. Alright, so we have some fresh solder on our 3 pins and our 2 anchor points. Where is everybody? What do you mean, where is everybody? We have a viewer on YouTube, and we have a few viewers on Twitch. Oh, it's just the chat's a little empty right now. Plus, I started a little earlier than I normally do, so I'm a little ahead of schedule. So that might be why too. Plus, people could be on holiday for Memorial Day. Like, some people might take a long holiday. But anyway, let's line up our new battery connector. So here's our battery connector. How do I want to go about doing this? Alright. So we have the new battery connector down. You know what? I wonder if it might be better to remove the solder and then add fresh solder. Actually, no, this is working out pretty well. Alright, we have our 3 pins soldered. Now let's inspect that from a different angle, just so we can see how those joints look, if they're of any quality. Looks like we were able to get the 3 pins. Let me get that in frame. Oh, the chat is thin. Yeah, it's just, there's people viewing, there's just not many people talking right now. That's where you come in, Bed. The chat is yours. The floor is yours, sir. Alright, let's zoom in these pins. See, that's what I'm worried about, is it's not going to be flush. Let me see. That connection is made. That connection is made. Oh, that connection is made. Actually, this may work. Alright, let's make these anchor point connections. Then I'll clean it and do a test. Using my finger to hold it down. We have the last anchor point. Because technically, you really only need those 3 pins, but these anchor points are for mechanical strength, not necessarily for electrical reasons. Okay, so that's not flowing. Alright, hold on. Let me get some fresh solder in. It's a bit of a tricky job, so things will get a little out of focus at times. Oh, gotta zoom in. There's the connector again. Anyway, what are we working on today? So today we have an expedited service repair a father, I'm assuming he was replacing the battery or maybe the thermal compound on a Nintendo Switch Lite. However, he ripped the battery connector got ripped off the PCB. So he asked me to reattach it. Yeah, see, this isn't enough heat. Okay, I'm gonna swap the tip. It's the heat transfer on this tip is just not doing what I want it to do. Especially not for these anchor points. Tweezers. Oh, there they go. I left them in a different spot than I normally do. Oh yeah, much better. Much better. Much better heat transfer. Everything's flowing as I would want it to. Okay, let me change my angle of entry. Let me rotate this. Get it in frame. Cool. Alright, that anchor looks decent. Now we have one more to make this right anchor, just to ensure it flows well. Alright, should be good. Just like that. Let's clean it up, and then we're going to go ahead and test. Try to get as much of this flux residue off the board. I'm glad when I took a look at this, the traces and pads were still intact. Those didn't get ripped off the board, so that's really good. Man, I'm not gonna lie, I was worried about that, especially considering the window that this customer was hoping to get the console back. Let's see. Oh boy. See, this looks pretty good. Let's just test real quick. Let's go over to the overhead cam. Ooh, I'll see my microscope knock the camera. It's the one thing of bringing this GoPro a little bit closer, but I do want you guys to see what's going on a little bit better, so I brought it in closer. Get this up here. Nice. Alright. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. You know what? For something like a battery, you want to make sure there's no shorts. So let me do that with my meter. You just make sure I didn't short anything, so that way I'm not shorting rails together, your ground and your positive rail. Yeah, let me get the microscope. This is quite small to try to probe on without the microscope. Turn the light off. Turn that back on. Alright. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure there's no shorts. So ground is your bottom left, this guy here. No shorts, no shorts. No shorts. That's good. Alright. Connector is soldered in properly, so that's good. Put my meter over to the side. I just wanted to double check that. Whenever you're working on power circuits, you always want to double check to make sure you're not shorting anything. Let me get this back in. Alright, that connector snapped in very happily. Alright, let's get this connection reestablished. I think we're good to go. These connectors, these ribbon cable connections are always a pain, but we manage. Alright, so this one's in and down, and then now we need to get this one in and down and locked in. Alright, it's fully seated. Now let's get the locking tab down, and it's down. Good. Alright, now the thermal paste situation. I'm pretty confident it's gonna work. But let's test it as we should. Before then, let me clean off this excess solder paste. I mean, thermal paste, not solder paste. Excuse me. A lot of paste. Next thing you know, I'm gonna start saying toothpaste. Now, I don't think this is the kind of paste you want to use on your teeth, unless you don't like a bright smile. And I have more solder paste to reapply. I have a large tube of it, so that's what we're gonna do here shortly. Let me clean it off the back of this guy. This is also just good practice, just to clear off, just to make sure when you reapply it, there's no air gaps. Right, just get a new piece of paper. Oh, I'm running low on my Kimtech wipes. That's annoying. I have another box over there, though. Not a problem. And it's about time I ordered in some more boxes. I might order them in bulk now, because I know I go through them. But that box lasted me a while. Alright. Alright. Let's go ahead and get some fresh thermal paste on there. Oh, did I tin this? Can't tell. So I'll just do it again. Shut that off. It's good. For a switch, you can apply a nice bead on this copper pipe. That should be good. Just like that, a little squiggly line, and I'll hold it closer to the camera so you guys can see, just for reference. This is the bead of thermal paste I apply on the heat pipe, the copper heat pipe of the Nintendo Switch Lite. Alright, everything is down and good. Just gonna put, I don't really need to do this yet, but now I gotta be mindful not to touch the Alright, I should be back in full effect. I was like, man, all of a sudden I don't hear my music anymore. What's going on? That was why my headset battery died. But I'm so glad about this system. It has a dual battery system. So I'm able to just swap the battery when it fails and it's boom. Or when it dies, and then it instantly starts charging. Very low downtime with this system. I think it's one of the best options if you're going to be streaming or doing something where you're constantly having a headset on. I feel like this is more annoying than what I just did. The battery connector. Nice. Alright. Let's go ahead and give this some power on. Everything else looks good. There's it, this button. Is this button? There we go. Oh, it just said Nintendo, but I guess the battery's dead. Oh no, there it is. Boom. Working just fine. Console battery low. Take a picture. Alright, that's a W. We eat those. Hey, it's Gene. Well, you just witnessed the first success for the day. Someone who was working on this console knocked off the battery connector, the header that attaches to the motherboard. So I just replaced it. It's underneath this ribbon cable here, but it's where the wires from the battery are going into. Right under there, tucked under there. Ew, that's a tough one. Yeah, it wasn't so bad. Just knocked it out. Kind of want to turn the console off so I could take pictures for the Instagrams. I forgot to take a picture when the thing was actually off the board. I always do that sometimes when I'm working on live stream. I just don't think to take pictures because I'm like, oh, I got people watching me. People don't want to watch me take pictures. Go to 3x zoom. Get right about there. Nice. Alright. How's your day been going, Gene? How you doing today, man? Oh, forgot to send the picture to customer. Oh, nice. Oh, the customer said his son is watching. Oh, that's nice. So he just witnessed. Switch is back up and running. Back in business. Alright, let's go ahead. Another day in paradise? You darn right. Better than the opposite, that's what I say. Not all gumdrops and rainbows, but it's alright. Alright, so we have fresh thermal compound, new battery connector. Things should be good to go. It just needs a charge. So I'm gonna leave this on the side charging, I'm gonna go ahead and start working on that PS5. It's gonna be double work, but it's the nature of the beast. I have to extract a power supply from another PS5 that I have for parts, and then you know, basically I'm disassembling two PS5s for this. Try to take a look and see if that works. Alright, this was the broken connector. Let's leave that to the side. Oh, his name's JJ. That's cool. JJ will be getting his console back. And it's in really good shape, too. This Switch. I don't know how long this person's had it, but they really took good care of it. Oh. You know what? I think the Switch likes to get snapped in from the bottom first, then proceed with the other sections. Alright, that's looking good. Is there a bulge up here? Should just snap right in. There we go. Alright, that looks good. Time for screws. And you know Nintendo. What does Nintendo love? Tri-wing screws. It's their favorite thing since sliced bread. Okay. Get my tri-wing bit. It's like one of the smallest ones. Oh, don't like how that feels. Let's go up a size. Don't want to strip any screws here. Nope, don't like how that feels. Yeah, it feels better. Oh no. Oh, thank goodness. It didn't go too far. Forget these screws are not magnetic. Throws me off so many times. Yeah, see, people are getting their Switch 2s. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, how in the heck? But apparently I heard there's like an update that you need to do. Basically like a day one update, which obviously you need to get on the internet. And if Nintendo spots you on a Switch 2 before release date, you're basically asking for the ninjas to come strike you. What's up, my brother? Oh, hey, person on YouTube. Hello, Salim Adiaga. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I think that's my first time noticing your username. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the pack. Alright, I think these are Phillips. Yes, they are. Okay, go back over to the Phillips land. Can't use them. Exactly. It's like, you can have it all you want, but just to say you have the box, and you don't have to wait in line for day one release, I don't know if that's really worth it. I'd probably just not even tell anybody at that point. That just sucks. Ugh. And the last screw to be had. Boom. Alright, let me get a USB-C cable connected and have this on the charger. Good luck, bro. I had to replace mine after I fat fingered taking the battery out. I had to buy a whole new hot air station to do it. Oh, you did it by hot air? Wow, that's... I'm guessing you fully disassembled it. I didn't fully disassemble it. But I can see that. Where you need to do that. If you want to use hot air. Midnight Prince on YouTube. And how's it charging? Charging just fine. 5.2 volts at about 1.2 amps. That is good. Let me see. At Midnight Prince. Thank you. Hi, just discovered your channel. Hey, Wes. Well, I appreciate the discovery. Welcome. Welcome to the pack. Oh man, I spelled pack wrong. Takes the oomph away. Well, we just finished wrapping up the Nintendo Switch Lite battery connector replacement. Just wrapped that up, and it's testing and drawing the correct amount of current. Things seem to be working just fine, and the console power is on, so that's a sure sign that the battery connection is good. I did test it for shorts before applying power, as you should with any type of power connections you're doing. I have a multimeter that I use to test it. So right now I'm just going to let the console charge and even let the customer know, like, if he wants to pick it up tonight, he can. I know they have a trip they're going on. They're going out of town, so I'm going to make sure I get that done before then. Now, we could work on this PS5. Yeah, this PS5. So this PS5, when I first opened it up, it had liquid metal everywhere. Everywhere it should not be. And I was super concerned, and I was shocked that it even turned on. So there's a piece of me that's concerned that the liquid metal got somewhere that it shouldn't have, and it might be an effort in vain, but I want to at least try something. Because what I'm facing is this PS5 console, it just shuts off, right? Whenever it's under load, it shuts off. So if you try to run a game like Spider-Man 2, anything that's demanding on the console at a certain point just shuts off. At first, you would assume, and that's what I assumed when talking to the customer over the phone, that it was just an overheating issue. But the thing is typically on the PS5, when you get an overheating issue, it'll tell you. It'll say, hey, your console shut off for overheating. But this console is not doing that. Here, let me bring this camera out a little bit. Man, the lighting. It's not as good as it typically is. Oh, is it at max brightness? Hold on. It is. Okay. The lighting's just really not. Oh, because of the height. That's why. That's why the lighting's not looking so good. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna open this thing up again and figure out what's going on with this console. Why is it just shutting off when under load? And I have another console, a donor console, that I can pull the power supply from that I can replenish later, but that console was a no fix because I think it has an issue with like the SSD controller, which customer was already so far gone with the console because apparently they took it to other shops before me, so I just opted to just buy it from them. How do you replace it without a hot air station? Well, Midnight Prince, the customer accidentally ripped the connector off before I received it. And here's the original connector. It's probably hard to see in this plastic here. This is the original connector in pieces. So I got the new connector in. I ordered it just from a vendor, got it from Amazon. Just because of the time constraint, I didn't use my normal vendor. And I just used my micro soldering station by Yihua, and I was able to just tack down all the points, added fresh solder, and tacked it all down, and boom, got it working. Alright, let's go ahead with the disassembly of this guy so we can get to the point where we can get to the power supply, and then I'm going to have to do this again on the donor unit, the donor console. I wonder if on YouTube, Midnight Prince, if you could go back in the video, even though it's a live video, I wonder if you can go back on the timeline and see when I actually work directly on the connector. Because I have my microscope camera too, so you'll be able to see it up close. I was trying to get it in frame as best as I could. Okay. Yeah, I know. I need to stand up. Thank you, Watch. Thank you for telling me. Oh yeah, this console didn't even have all the screws when I received it. It was not in the best shape, but still trying to make do with it. Alright, let's keep going. Alright, fan removed. To the side. Alright, now we have our screws to remove. Interesting. I don't know about Switch Lites, but I did it for my original Switch and it was impossible to replace the battery connector with an iron alone. Really? I wonder if they use a bigger connector on the... I don't know off the top of my head. Regarding the, you know, larger switches like your OLED or the HE, forget the model number. Is there a screw down there? Yeah. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to take a look and just take a look at it and see if it's something that you could do with soldering iron alone or not, from my opinion, but I believe it, especially if it's like kind of closer to like the USB-C connector, something like that. Yeah, you gotta use hot air. It just makes your life a lot easier to use hot air. Alright, the screw's not there. So one screw here. Is that all of them? Yes, because some screws were missing. Okay, cool. Yeah, see, when I put it back together, I ended up using Kapton tape to try to... Oh yeah, that cable was gnarled up. Alright, let's see. Wonder if... Okay. If I could take it... No, because I'm going to have to remove these connections. Darn. I'm going to have to remove all these screws. Wish I didn't have to, but I think I'm going to have to. I don't think there's a way around it. Even though this isn't really attached to the chassis. Let me not cheese it. Let me just do it the right way. Or the long way, I guess. Even though there's screws missing. I will say though, replacing joysticks are annoying AF and a waste of solder wick. TBH. Yeah, I hear you there, man. I did find a way to do it by just using hot air on the joysticks, at least just to remove them. But I mean, I have a solder sucker, I just don't really use it because of the whole clogging system. Like, it gets clogged, and then the cleaning tools I have, they get like a coating on them, which makes them hard to clean. the solder vacuum. So I ended up just using a solder wick. It does use a lot of solder wick. I agree with you there, 1000%. Here, let me mark these. I didn't mark these last time. So I know where I took the screws from since some are missing. But you are not wrong, Midnight Prince. I agree with you 1000%, man. You will use a lot of solder braid. A lot of that John Wick, you know what I'm saying? And it is not fun. It uses quite a bit. Alright. So I micro solder frequently, and a solder sucker doesn't really work for me. Oh, really? Maybe it's because I got a cheap one. Maybe. There's like a little bit of finesse with them. At least, maybe you know, maybe you don't. But I know one thing that helped me with the longevity and using them, and what I learned recently in the IPC course, because it's not something I did beforehand, was continuing to hold the trigger. Hey, we got an alert. Someone joined the pack. Let's see. Oh, cool, sweet. Thanks for joining the pack. Appreciate you. I think that alert is gonna play twice. It usually does. But yeah, as long as it's not those like solder suckers that are like plastic, those spring-loaded ones, those ones I can't stand. Even though some people like those, I do not. I'm not a fan of those at all. There's like a 0% chance I prefer using those, but when it comes to the motorized ones with like a whole vacuum, yeah, maybe. You're welcome. Oh, sweet. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, there it goes. I don't know why it plays the audio twice. I'll reduce it for now. But yeah, the one I have is from Yihua. It worked well in the beginning. I just got to spend the time to do the maintenance on it just to unclog it. But it worked very well when I was using it, like when it was new. I just haven't spent the time to clean it out, get it working right again. So that's not the fault of the product. It's more of a maintenance thing. Sony, you just had to use all these stinking screws. You want to talk about annoying, Midnight Prince? This thing has 43 screws, man. 43 just for this metal shielding to come off. Oh, I missed one to mark. Let me mark this one. 43. Ask me how I know. It's a lot of screws, man. All to get to the power supply. And that's the thing with this one is like I'm not even super confident that that's what's gonna fix the issue. It's just from my experience, my anecdotal experience, and me just hypothesizing on it. It's the one thing I think is truly the issue is maybe the power supply. Maybe liquid metal got into the power supply. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it just suffered from like a lot of heat. Maybe it's clogged. Because when I originally worked on this console, I didn't go down to the power supply to inspect the aerated holes, or the ventilation holes. My bad, not aerated. So we're gonna do that this time for sure. All right. So that's all the screws. Oh, I'm not used to having the camera this low. Sorry about that. Gave it a headbutt. Alright, so it's coming off quite easily. Good. Alright, put that to the side. Yeah, there was liquid metal all over the place, and I spent like a good amount of time trying to clear it up, making sure it wasn't shorting anything. So at that point, it's like, man, you're playing Russian roulette to a degree. This cable got all chewed up because it was underneath the screw hole and someone screwed into it. Yeah, this console has been through some things, man. Okay, so let me remove this guy, and then I should be able to open it up now. And basically get to the power supply. Wow, I didn't squeeze hard enough. There we go. Cool. Motherboard and heatsink assembly detached, so this way I don't have to deal with the liquid metal, because I did inspect it already and clean it up. Okay, so here's the power supply unit. The outside, can I say anything's bad? Nope. Can't necessarily say something's wrong with it. Oh, did someone crack this thing open? Whoa, that's not good. Do you see how the seam is split? Okay, it looked like someone tried to pry this thing open. There's definitely pry marks. You guys see that? Interesting. Oh, this is making my hypothesis seem a little more viable now. Granted, the console will turn on. It's just under load. It is not happy. So I'm gonna put this power supply to the side. And I bet if I connect power to this thing and probe on it, it'll read 12 volts, I'm sure. But it doesn't mean it's necessarily good. Okay, and this antenna is all bent up. Yeah, this thing had a rough life, man. This thing had a rough life. I think it's all broken. Okay. Sometimes I wonder, how did some of this stuff happen? Like, how do people accomplish some of these feats? No damage. Never taken this thing out before, so I'm not entirely sure how I'm supposed to go back in, but that's okay. I will figure that out later. I think it's supposed to snap into a kind of holder, but we will cross that bridge later. I want to test this console with this new power supply from this donor unit. Alright, here's the donor. We're going to take the power supply from this guy, put it in the other one, see what we get. Oh man. put these behind me so I don't mix them. See, the power supply screws are intact. I'll probably end up taking those with me. Guess what, people? More screws. This drive, a fan assembly. Put that to the side. Alright, just a bunch of screws, my friends. Lots and lots of screws. Screws and music. It is nice that they made this where, you know, there's a disc version, a diskless version. Now, I would always opt to have a disk drive because I'm a big proponent of owning things physically. They can't be revoked from you. So, I personally wouldn't opt for a console without a disk drive, but I get the argument. Like, some people, they don't want to have a bunch of physical cases taking up space, or it's just convenient for them. Me personally, no thanks. Like, I get that argument, but nah. Plus, like, when you own something physically, not only could you let someone borrow it, but you could recuperate some of that financial value by selling it. So it's like you almost got the game for less money. Because you have the option to sell. Okay. Alright. Let's go ahead and keep going. Oh, yep. Definitely tell I worked on this one before because I am a screw marker. Take a look at how that's supposed to stay. Oh, that gets attached to the power supply. Oh, okay. The antenna goes on the power supply. I see. Alright, disk drive is out. You know, I could use this disk drive too. It's nice to have a parts unit because you get so many parts from it. A donor console. Hey, Wes said nowadays everything is a rent service, right? I agree with you, Wes. It's like that one meme. You will own nothing and be happy. I'm not a huge fan of subscriptions when it comes to media, man. It's basically a long-term lease. You're just paying for a license. You don't own it. They could just revoke it from you. I don't like that. It's exactly the reason why I don't play extraction shooters. What's that noise? Oh, it might be about to rain again. We've been getting a lot of rain lately, even though we definitely do need it. Those there. More screws. Stop screwing around. It's like I can't. It's my job. Oh. I can't believe the Switch 2 is coming out next week. Right? That's insane. It's already here. Sheesh. Time flies. Well, hopefully we don't get any power surges and the stream goes out, because it definitely does sound like there's thunder outside. Thunder and lightning. Alright, we're almost there. We're over 50% of the screws, man. Oh, Sony, please, on the next console, don't use this many screws. Please find some other way, please. I go through so many gloves because of this console. Just rubbing the material away. Les Moore said, people say, I just bought a game on Steam, and the reality is that it's just a rent. Exactly, it's just a long-term lease. You know, funny enough, like, new legislation came out in California where the wording of that word, or of that term purchase, they have to define it better. So now, all these online retailers had to adjust what they mean when they say purchase or buy, because those words for so long meant ownership. They had the context of ownership with it, but not anymore. So that is a step in the right direction for like consumer rights, I guess. Um, so that's nice. And, you know, hopefully we in America mirror what the EU does when it comes to those things, because there's a lot of things that it's not right, man. These places do not look out for the consumer. I mean, I understand it, make your money, but jeez. It's like you gotta have people in order to make your money. Don't screw them over that bad. Then they won't come back. Alright, we're almost there. Almost there. Last screw for this metal sheet. Alrighty, finally. Alright. Metal sheet is off. Okay. Let's remove this cable. Alright, now we need to flip this thing over in order to unscrew the power supply, which are these two screws. There's one here. They should both be that fine thread. Put one there. Okay. You know what? Let me flip this thing over so I can at least see how it wants to disassembled. Disconnect the power supply, like that, and we should get liftoff. Oh, is this screw preventing liftoff? It should not be. That should be good. That should be good. We got liftoff. All right. Sweet. So this is the donor unit. I will put this over here. Okay. All right. Well, this is a good sign. This unit seems to be untouched and not floating around. And the two screws that are supposed to be there are actually still there. You see? This unit, which I'm going to take from this console, has both of its screws intact. This one has the screws removed. So I don't know what whoever did inside of this thing and why it's pried open like this. Should not be like that. So let's go ahead and get this replaced. Yeah, something ain't right with that power supply. I don't know what they did with it. Okay, so these two screws hold it down, huh? Alright, let's go ahead and get a bit for these. That's one. And that's two. Alright, this guy should come out. I don't know. Screws are really necessary to prevent it from coming out. Yep, that's all of them. Should just lift up. There we go. Actually, those screws did not need to come out. Those are for the power supply itself. They're supposed to stay captive to hold the power supply together. So let's put those back. And as just a good practice, I'm going to blow out the power supply, just to clean up any debris inside. Alright, donor unit, thank you for your sacrifice. It is much appreciated. Alright, I have my air machine, my Bloimatron 5000. Pardon the noise. Alright, Bloimatron 5000 has done its job. Okay. Cheers. Is it exactly the same? Yes, it is. Okay. Alright. Let's go ahead and get this thing reassembled. I'm gonna leave this antenna with this power supply, since they go together. Alright, let's go. Alright. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. Let me message the customer. Yes. TA. Oh man, I hate fat fingering stuff. Alright. Onward. Let's see what we can do with this thing. I don't like that. Okay. Do I need those screws that they go through? They do go through. So we need to put the main board back in. Then we could put the power supply screws. Let's get things out of the way, so I'm not smushing them like a Goomba. That's good. Let's get that routed there like it's supposed to. There's got to be a way to hold this together temporarily. Maybe there isn't. That's fine. There's no real way to test this under load. I'm gonna do it to myself. I'm gonna fully reassemble it. Wish there was a better way, but there's no true way to test it in its normal running condition, because it could work and then, you know, maybe it's getting more ventilation or maybe whatever. I want to test it in its normal running condition. Alright, let's put the panel back. Good, good. Good. Alright. Alright, let's see if this is the culprit. I mean, that power supply was looking rough. And it's funny, I just randomly thought of it. I was like, you know, when you don't work on something for a little bit, your brain still works in the background. So it's like, man, something tells me it's probably that power supply. It's especially because, like, it's just shutting off. It's just shutting off, but it's not giving you an overheating warning. Because I'm like, when you hear something like that over the phone, oh yeah, it was working, it just works, and then it just cuts off. I'm like, interesting. Do I want to put all these screws back? I kind of don't. I kind of just want to put a good amount back, because this part I don't need to fully reassemble for testing. Just enough to hold it. Some key areas. That's good. That way it'll hold it in place. Alright, let me reattach these antennas. Doesn't have to be perfect, because I'm going to have to open this thing back up if it works. Or even if it doesn't work, put the screws back where I found them. Second, messaging this customer. Sorry. One second. Got to do the business side of things. This is where it'd be nice to have a crew, so they can handle this administrative tasks. And I could just focus on the actual hardware, the fun part that I like. Okay. Good. This is good. It's all good. Everything's looking good. Let me get the cover back on. And now I'm gonna have to figure out a game to run it under load with. This is a partial reassembly, just to prove if this actually worked or not. PS5s will not boot without the fan. Fun fact, just in case someone didn't know that. Just in case you may not have known. PS5 will refuse if it does not detect a fan, which is very smart. Because why let it overheat itself? You know? Oh, hey. Hey, it's Quan. Hey, Midnight Prince said at Westmore, that's every game that's not on physical media. Facts. Quan said, good to see someone with more patience than I. I tend to rush things when working on electronics. Man, I hear you. I think I think honestly, when I work on electronics, I give a lot of credit to me playing Melee competitively as a Falco main and just getting bodied by like a Marth, and you just getting chain grabbed to death, and you just gotta hold it. Just gotta hold it. All that frustration, you just gotta eat it. And that has helped me with my patience. Cause man, when you actually beat a Marth main, like a good one, oh, it feels good. Oh, it feels righteous, man. You felt like you did good. You did good. Honestly, I do think that's where a lot of my patience came from. Honestly, not even trying to joke or be funny, I guess. That game will break you mentally in order for you to be good competitively, I guess. Okay. Alright. I wonder if I should put the sides on just as like a extra hurrah. Because, you know, it'll have to force air past those too. So I think that'll be a good, like, hurrah moment. Alright. On over to the test stand. You know, I should do the little swirly effect, like old-fashioned Batman, like, and it transitions. I might look into doing that, being a Batman fan. I think that'll be kind of sick, actually. It'll be corny, but it'll be cool corny, you know? Like popcorn. Like, kernels are cool, but popcorn is where it's at. You know what I'm saying? A little itch in the beard. Okay. Alright, that made my room flicker, but that happens often, so don't even sweat it. Oh, the camera's a little bit much over there. Let's get that over there. Alright, so we're over at the test stand. Let us see if we can induce the failure. I'm gonna need a controller. And I'm probably gonna have to go on a bathroom break soon because duty calls. But not that. I have to just, you know, the quick one. Alright, let's see. USB-C to USB-A. Processing. After the repair, what to hurt you? Alright, well that thing is booting up and figuring out what it wants to do with its life. Let me take a look at this switch Lite that we replaced the battery connector on. Let me see where the battery percentage is. Oh wow, that's pretty good. It's probably at like a cool 40%. That's not bad. Kind of want to get it as charged as possible for the customer. Let's see. I could just imagine being a young kid without your console and you finally getting it back. I would love to make sure there's charge on there. Quad said, I guess I use up all my patience at work. Hey man, I know we've talked before, and like, I don't know if you mentioned it on chat, but for what you do, yes. Being a manager at any place, you need all the patience in the world. Dealing with people is next level, man. Alright, so let's see if we can induce that failure. Everything seems to be going just fine. I'll have to update later. What? You can't even launch it? Are you serious? Oh man, that's annoying. Gotta update the consoles. Sorry about that, guys. You know what? This is a good time. I will be right back. I do have to run to the restroom. And this is good timing because this has to update. BRB. Alright, I'll be right back. Actually, I probably won't even... I'll just leave it on there so you guys can see the update screen. I'll be right back. Did you miss me? It's my best Master Chief impression. Speaking of Master Chief, this is something that I have one of these like really cool and very expensive now, which is insane to think about, but I think it's because the game didn't do too great, but then it had a little resurgence. The Halo Infinite Xbox Elite Series 2 controller. The RB button doesn't work, and the LB button feels like it's right behind it. So I have the switches in stock now, and I've been wanting to fix it, you know? Did you wash your hands? Oh my gosh. Someone just had to ask that. Yes, I washed my hands. In fact, I can't use the bathroom and not wash my hands. It actually messes with me mentally. It like bothers me. I have to wash my hands. I just feel like I committed a crime if I don't. And the longer I don't do it, the worse it feels. So I have to. It's not an OCD or anything like that, but it definitely like just sticks out in my head. Almost like Navi from like Ocarina of Time. Just like, hey, listen, hey. Air Studios, yo. Yo. It's the boy. Welcome, man. Appreciate you stopping by. We already knocked out the Nintendo Switch Lite repair. Actually, I think the customer is hoping to meet up with me tonight to pick it up. And then the PS5 that I replaced the power supply on, I'm doing testing now. So you came at a good time. Alright, so let's see. I just need to run a game for it to get to the point, and I think it failed pretty quickly. But I have a feeling there's a conflict between save data. Select saved data. Cloud storage. Continue. That's another thing about disc-based consoles. It makes it annoying to try to test because you have to. There's more hoops. You can't just put a disc in and just test it. You have to either download a game, update, make sure it's good, sync data, all this stuff. Well, hopefully, let's see if it was really just the power supply, because that'd be cool. Let's see. It's running pretty cool. Fan is doing its thing. Fan spinning. Okay. We're just waiting. We're just waiting. Trying to think, what is something I could do in the meantime with this thing? You're using this content on another console. On this PS5 with your license. Okay. I can't test it if he's the owner of this PS5 is, I think, actually playing on another console, or maybe through remote play. So it's not letting me. Oh, that sucks. How can I run a test? Does he have any game I can just like play? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. No. Is this gonna be quick? Oh, it's a PlayStation Plus game. Okay, so the games that were previously downloaded on here, I can't run because the owner is playing on another console. Let me see if I can contact them and let them know, like, hey, I need to test it. Could you hop off real quick? Let me message him. That's funny. Oh. Let me see. Oh, that's frustrating. You know what? We might just do that. Well, no, I have something else I can work on in the meantime if I do need to, if I need to download a game. Unfortunate. Let's see, what's a game I can download real quick? Oh no. Oh, he deleted it? Alright, Astro's Playroom should be pretty quick. Oh, that's annoying, man. Talk about blue balls. The dance is in order. Well, there's no dance yet. We don't know an answer quite yet, but I am down to dance. Especially if I'm standing up, I'm more inclined to dance. Alright, 3%? Or it's already at 10%. Okay, that's not bad. Perks of having some decent internet in this area, thankfully. In the meantime, let me crack one of these open. Oh boy. So I have these two Nintendo Switch consoles from the same owner. One had the rail blasted off of it for attaching the Joy-Con. So this rail is like all loose. See, it's loose, and basically when you attach a Joy-Con, you don't, I guess it doesn't detect it. Here, let me see. Where are my test Joy-Cons? Here are these. So right Joy-Con. Alright, detects it. Seems to work just fine. Left Joy-Con. No sauce. No sauce. No work. Hey, it's Tim. Welcome, man. Nice of you to pop by the stream. Going as well as it can be, sir. Power options, turn off. Nice to have you by. Alright, so let's work on this. The download's already at 50%. That's good. That's good stuff. Some juicy internet we got working around here. Alright, let's crack this thing open though. Get this guy. You know, let me put my gloves on. What am I doing? Yeah, I apologize for not dropping by more. Been crazy busy. Hey, busy's a good thing. And trust me, I understand. Got more work than hands. It's not always a bad thing. Appreciate you stopping by, man. Let me put this over here. What have you been working on lately? Yeah, I apologize. Yeah. Any new crazy projects you got in lately? I know last time we kind of talked, you were working on some motorcycle display or odometer thing. How'd that go, Tim? Oh, man, I don't know if these kids got into a kerfluffle or something, but they really did some damage to this Switch. This thing got kind of clapped, not gonna lie. Yeah, that guy didn't end up wanting us to fix it, sadly. Okay. Understandable. Maybe it just wasn't worth it for him. Alright, so we have the left from the back view. 88%, guys. And we'll have an answer on that PS5 if it was truly the power supply or not. I've been getting a lot of gaming PC rebuilds. Yeah, he wasn't trying to spend a lot of money on it. I understand. Probably was like a little passion project for him. PC rebuilds. Oh my, this thing is just gonna come apart. Like, the shell is just... Oh man. Oh, I don't know how to take this apart without breaking it. I don't think man, this thing got utterly clapped. Alright, let me see if there's a way I can get under there. Done 3 in the past few weeks. Wow. So when you say rebuilds, what do you mean? Like, almost like a maintenance service where you like apply new thermal paste or upgrades, or... I'm curious. What do you mean? I don't know how to take that off without breaking it. Is there a screw I'm missing? Let me just double check. But I don't think there is. It's just this thing is really... Okay. Well, there it goes. Alright. Man, look at that. That whole bottom piece just broke off. Upgrades. Taking all the old parts out and replace with all new parts. Gotcha. So basically the only thing the same is the case at that point. That's what it sounds like. That's always pretty cool. Oh! It's ready! Motherboard, RAM, CPU, water cooler. Nice. Yeah, that's the good stuff. Alright, we're gonna take a brief intermission from this Nintendo Switch that has been through Chernobyl. And we will go on over to the chatting cam to check on this PS5. Let's see. If I run this game under load, let's see if it just shuts off. Here. Oh, okay. One second. I'm gonna have to break away from the stream. The Switch Lite owner is here and would like to pick it up. Let's see, where's the battery percentage? 47%, that's not bad. Little baggies. I will be right. This is actually good timing because then the console can just run. So far, it seems to be doing alright. And this is under load. This is a lot better. This is a lot further than it got before. This is good news. This is good news. I think the power supply was the culprit, guys. But let's run it under test for a little bit, and I will be alright. Sorry about that, y'all. Alright, I'm back. Duty calls, man. When you gotta wear multiple hats. Better wipe that thing off with alcohol. Oh yeah, good point, good point. Got the Lysol wipes. But I don't know if you guys noticed, but guess what's still running in the background? You see it? It was not doing that before. That's a W. I'm gonna call that a W. It was the power supply. Whatever these guys did to this poor power supply, they really did a number on this thing. I don't know if they took parts out of it or just damaged something or dropped it or nicked it or what. But I am convinced it was the power supply. Well, obviously, right? I replaced it and it works now. You gotta be a rocket scientist to figure out that logic. My hypothesis was correct. My hypothesis was correct. I almost want to play it a little bit before I speak too soon. Maybe go somewhere with some water to really like stress this out. I think the water level is green, or is this the jungle? Yeah, it's not. I don't want to go there. What is this one? Is this the water level? Yeah. Water physics are always usually harder on your CPU and GPU, so that's what makes it really good to like test things under those conditions. But I kid you not, this thing would have crashed already. Like it would have just shut off. So I'm gonna leave this running in the background with water physics having to be rendered, because I think that's a good test. But so far it's good. It's running. It's running. It's passing the stress testing. And if you're a fan of Astrobot, you just enjoy good games at that point. You know what good games are. Alright, so I'm gonna have them bouncing. I'm trying to think what would be more demanding. Alright, this is gonna be more demanding. You have the particle physics from the dust. You have the water physics that need to be rendered. You have birds. You have him jumping. I'm just gonna leave that doing its thing over to the side before I have to take it apart and fully reassemble again. But this is great. This is a W, man. This is a W, man. Oh, this one I've had it for like a while now, and it was just getting under my skin. Ah, that feels good. That one feels good. That one feels good. That one feels good. That's a good one. So is the power supply. Seems simple now, but when you're going through the motions, it's like, yo, what the heck is going wrong with this thing? And it's nice to finally figure it out. Sweet. All right. Oh, let me tell him. Let me tell him. Let me tell him. Let me tell the customer. I know he's gonna be happy. I don't know if he found a replacement already, but this is great. That guy's, man, it's so cool to have repeat customers, one, and then being able to help them more than once. That's a good feeling too. Dang, so that's 2 W's tonight. Alright, let me focus on this switch now. So this guy, and it's not even the power supply's fault. Like, I don't know who did what to this thing, but they obviously opened this thing and like, oh, let me go over to the overhead cam. They obviously opened this thing, or tried to. Like, this thing just feels off, or maybe it has like swollen components, or I doubt it. It's so young. Anyway, I can't. I'm gonna just have to chalk it up to being faulty at this point. I'm gonna have to figure out a way of disposing of it. But at least I had a PS5, a donor PS5 that I could use for parts. Now, granted, I still want to reassemble that PS5 because I think I want to spend time like learning on it, because I think it's the SSD microcontroller IC that's wrong on it. Or not microcontroller, the solid state drive controller, memory controller is what's wrong on this thing. Anyway, onward. Onward, onward. Finally, bro. That's another one. I can ship that back. That's good. I like clearing out stuff because I don't have a whole lot of space to store items. Alright, so what's good with this guy? Did the ribbon cable just get completely torn off? Oh yeah, well no wonder why it doesn't work. The ribbon cable got completely destroyed. Oh man. You know what? I just realized this is the first time I opened a Switch OLED. Wow. It's a bit different, but not that much different, actually. It's a tri-wing? No. So is this an antenna circuit? What is this? Oh, it's attached to it. Oh, that's cool. I like that. The customer is super happy. I texted him. He was like, awesome, thank you. You're welcome, sir. So we have 2 screws here. Not gonna lie, I could have picked a better spot to have the PS5 idling because that bouncing noise is starting to get on my nerves. Hopefully you guys, it's not picking up on the mic so you guys aren't getting blasted with it, but it's kind of annoying, not gonna lie. It was cute at first, but not so much anymore. Kind of like kids. I'm playing. That was a joke. That was a joke. I wonder if it'd be advantageous to just remove it all or not. I may not need to. I don't think I need to. I'll get to scoot this over to the side. Put that there, and then remove this, and I think I should be able to take this shield off. Just like, can I? Well, yeah, that's not doing anything anymore. Oh, so this doesn't come off with it like the other antenna does. I assumed it would, but I guess not. Well then how does it snap in? Let's see. Piece of me knows I could just look this up and go to, you know, whatever website, like, oh, it's this screw right here. It's this left screw needs to come out. I could go to like ifixit.com or find some other guide online like Reddit, but I do enjoy just taking things apart and not knowing. It's the thrill of it, sometimes worth it. There, move the antenna wire, and boom. Ooh, that thing is dusty. Alright, I think I have the rails in stock. I might have this rail. Oh yeah, the cable has been completely torn out. So there's supposed to be a cable that gives the signal from the Joy-Con to the system to let it know that the Joy-Con's connected, and it connects at this board down here at the very corner, and basically some way it's routed to go to this ZIF connector right next to the speaker connector. To the left of the battery connector, it's this connector here. It's to the left of this battery input connector, which is bigger, which, you know, what was his name? Midnight Prince was saying how he had to use hot air to remove this connector. I could see that. I could still see that with this connector. It uses 2 more wires. It's a 5 conductor connector and header versus the one on the Switch Lite, which is only 3 conductors. So I could see how, you know, it's going to be even more difficult to remove it with just a soldering iron. So I get what he's saying now. But this is the connector that should have a connection going to it. And it looks like the latch is still down, so that thing just got yanked out. Let me see if I have a replacement in stock. I thought I did. I should. I will be right back. I'm gonna go grab that connector. I should have it if I remember exactly where it is. You guys could just stare at Astrobot hopping on the on the parasail over here. ERB. And I'll go to the just chatting cam so you can watch Astrobot in the background. Watch him hop, and I will be right back. Alright. It looks like I did have it. I did. I did saw a putty tat. I did. The youth may not know that reference. Should be the rails, but I don't know if it has the electronics. Oh yeah, I see ribbon cables. I see ribbon cables. It's a good sign. Well, I'm happy to report that PS5 is annoyingly working. So that's good. It's only the sound that's annoying, which I could easily mute the TV. I probably should have done that already, but, you know. First world problems. Okay. Oh, this is the new ESD bag, huh? Conductive grid bag. Static sensitive device. Okay. I mean, it should be anti-conductive? Alright, so here is a rail system. Is this for the right or the left? I wish they were more specific. How do I know which one's for which? If I had to guess, I would assume this is for... Well, that's great. I would assume this is for the left side. Which, I guess it's based that way. Okay, no, this is for the other side. Nice, you can kind of see some form of orientation at the top. So this is for the, if you're facing the front, the left. Okay, so I will put this one back as this one is not needed. And I'm just glad that I had these in stock. Now the other switch that I did take a glance at already, that one's going to be a bear because I think it has audio but no video. So I think the IC that controls that is bad. And that one suffered water damage, and water damage is a little more spontaneous with how it damages something. So it could be a little bit more of a bear to try to figure out, diagnose, and repair. And look how long that ribbon cable is. And look how non-existent the original one is. Look at this one. Look how long this is. And look how there's nothing there. That thing got milli-rocked. Molly-wopped. Alright, so I can replace that. Thankfully. I'm not entirely sure how it's supposed to be routed. Like any bends. I do see a sticky pad, so I'm guessing it just goes over. Maybe down and back up. Well, we're gonna make do. I guess I could look up one online for reference. Alright, so let's unscrew. Screw this side of the rail. You know, the metal's still good, but the board is not. Boy, that board is. Yeah. Okay. So this is the bad one. need to dwell on it. It is bad. It is broken. Oh, where'd this come from? Is this part of the console? Oh man, it's broken though. Off of this? No. I think this was some type of backing from the side plate that must have been damaged off. Oh yeah, it was supposed to go here. I see, but it broke off, so. Man, this thing really took some damage. Alright, onward. Okay. Thankfully, the screw threads are made of an alloy, not plastic. It's funny that word because of Horizon Zero Dawn. I always want to say alloy, but it's alloy. Astro Boy brings pure joy. Absolutely right, Quan. And Midnight Prince said, "Have you modded Switches before?" I've done like button swaps and console mods, even up to like the screen replacement, which is like the point where most people just kind of back off. I've done those. In terms of like a software mod, no, not really. I never really cared to do it. And usually I don't do that for consoles that are like, how can I put it? I don't do it for consoles that are like still in circulation, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like where you can, like there's still a main I don't know. I have my own weird ethics around that, but no, I haven't done any type of software modding to a Switch. This can't be right. Man, how would this thing be routed? Does it go underneath and then up? Does it do some type of like double bend maneuver? Definitely just comes across and sticks to this, for sure. Alright, I'll bite the bullet. I'll look it up. I'll look up a reference, and I'll go to the homies over at iFixit. Nintendo Switch OLED. Let's see. I once offered a Switch a free hardware mod install on a V2 Switch and hike the price on the repair. You gotta do what you gotta do. Hey, I hear you, man. I once offered a Switch a free hardware mod install on a V2 Switch and hike the price on the repair. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so it already needed a repair. Oh, so the bottom rail is a separate part. Oh, that's cool that they did that, but I don't have that in stock. Yeah, okay, I got you. I understand what you're saying, Midnight Prince. Joy-Con left sensor rail. Why don't they only have the left and not the right one? Maybe the right gets his data a different way, I suppose. You didn't need to do all that. Okay, how is it routed? Oh, it is routed underneath. That's what I thought. I was like, there's no way it's not routed like that. Okay, that makes sense. Man, you gotta do all that? I don't think so. Okay, so it's routed that way. Alright, I had a feeling, because like that length is so long. The only reason I stopped installing Monchis was because of customer support. People don't read. Oh, I hear you. Yeah. The thing about modding is like it's hard to sell it to people because it's very Like you have to be technically inclined. Like it's not very user friendly sometimes. I totally understand that. Okay, so this is supposed to go underneath and come up this way. So I might... Alright, so definitely let me disconnect the battery to give myself more clearance. I do see that the board flexes a little bit, which is not a bad thing in this case, because it might give me enough room to get underneath. No, it won't. Okay. Let's disconnect the speaker. Cool. Let's route it over here. I just need to get underneath enough. Okay, I think I can. I'm going to remove the rail just to route it and then reattach. Just so it's out of the way and it doesn't like pinch on anything or damage the connections. It's the last thing I want. But I think we could definitely get the rail working again for sure. Alright, this is going to require some sleight of hand pro. And if you know where that's from. Actually, you know what? Let me get a slight bend in this thing. Nothing too aggressive. Maybe another slight bend right here. Again, nothing too aggressive. Sorry, my noggin might be getting in the way for this particular sequence. I gotta prevent this from giving me too. Oh, we're almost there. Tweezers. Oh, there's some. Alright, we're able to get it through somewhat. Get this guy out of my way because he's starting to get on my nerves. You speaker wire you. And we just need this to lift up just enough to route this guy underneath. Yeah, this part's a bit tedious. I knew it would be, but it's just threading, that's all it is. Threading and patience. Nice, we're getting there. We're getting there. Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna need fresh thermal compound. Sorry if you guys are messaging and I'm not responding for the moment, but we got it. Had to focus up real quick. Alright, let's see what you wild gents are saying. Oh man. And I said, yeah, it sucks, especially when I charge them a one-time $50 fee. Yeah, and then they want like, it's basically like having warranty, which is what increases prices or subscription at that point. I tell them to only use custom firmware on Hecate and not their original Sysstand, and they still ask me why can't they put games on it. I hear you there. If I had a cloud service that could install new versions and do support remotely, I would do it. Makes sense. Yes. Especially, that's another thing in the modding scene is it's like a continual thing. It's constantly updating. So it's like if you charge someone a one-time fee, that's for like that snapshot in time. So it's really difficult to like give support without, with people not wanting to spend more. Excuse me. I think the worst mistake was with family. I modded my sibling Switch Lites under the pretense that my mom didn't have to buy them any more games. Excuse me. They figured out her tinfoil password and filled the SD card. Cool, but then it had no space to update UGH. These days, I uninstalled tinfoil and use DBI to put games on their stuff. It's easier. Okay. Yeah, all that I've never heard of, but like I just never used what is it, Hecate you called it? You mentioned, or Hecate? Yeah. I didn't even get that far into like the Nintendo Switch modding scene. But you're right. I do like just thinking about it out loud. It is probably somewhat of a bear to work with people when it comes to the modding scene, because people don't, especially people who are just end users who don't really understand what's exactly going on. Yeah, it could be a bear. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, I'm guessing they routed it. Man, I wonder if this stuff kind of routes over it. Alright, let's install our speaker connection again. Let's install our new rail connector. Let's get that in there. And I'm going to use Kapton tape to try to hold it down, because the sticky pads have too much dust on them to be useful anymore. Oh baby, we have conexiones, and we have locked conexiones. Sorry, I make up words. I make up Spanglish words all the time. Alright, let me use a piece of Kapton tape there. Try to hold this thing down. I first did it because I had a launch Switch and I was curious. I hope the Switch 2 is as good at repairs as the Switch 1. The PS5 was/is kind of cancer to fix. Xbox is easier, but largely the same. Buying broken Switch V1, V2s were the easiest money I've ever made. It takes a lot of patience, but it's easy. Gotcha. Interesting, man. Yeah. You know what? That's a side of the hustle that I never really got into. Was just buying broken things and fixing them for myself. Like the margins in doing that is a lot higher than just doing repairs. And I've seen that. I did it a few times and I'm just like, wow, the margins are a lot better when you're just buying broken things from, like, let's say eBay or wherever, and then fixing them and then flipping them. but I don't know. I just maybe lazy or whatever. But, you know, that is something I've been thinking about doing. Whether it's for like Xbox Elite controllers or whatever. Just buying them broken and then fixing them, and then, or like trying to find a bunch of consoles with like broken HDMI ports, taking care of that. There's really good margin in doing that, for sure. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. Alright. Wonder if I can just do a power on test. Is there anything else that needs to be connected? I don't think so. Alright, I'm gonna just do a quick rail test, rail check. Joy-Cons. Alright, the left rail was not working before. Working just fine now. So that's a W. At least we got one of them. Working well. Alright. Cosmetically, this thing is still going to look rough, but functionally, it will work. So that's good. I think the cost of like trying to get all the pieces wasn't really justifying it. Writing, break, switch keys. Don't worry, I do the same, but in writing, I write in a mixture of cursive and print, and it's possible to write any other way. I take it. Flipping switches has a very low margin, especially this year. I had to borderline scam people just to make a decent profit. Ooh. If you're ever thinking of doing it, investing in cleaning equipment and like a dedicated photo booth will pay its cost back super fast. Oh, gotcha. Kind of just showcasing exactly what you're doing and like what the benefits are. I could see that. Alright, let me clean this off, reapply thermal compound, and oof, let me clean these fins. These fins are quite dirty. Oh, thing is still on. Uh-oh. Did not realize I still had this thing on. I'm gonna have to turn you off. Power options, turn off. Oopsies. I'm like, man, why is the fan spinning? Well, no junk. It's on. Of course the fan should be spinning. I think the screw is missing. This screw was not here when I took it off. Alright, let's get this thing ready for new thermal compound. If you guys have noticed, Astrobot is still bouncing in the background. Alright, let me use my Kintech wipe. Alright, that looks good. Let's get some fresh thermal compound on there. And that one with water damage, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure. I do want to connect it to a dock. The customer said that she didn't try that. I want to try that and see if that makes a difference. Okay, thermal compound. It's replaced. You just need to clean off the shield and re-screw everything in. Alright, let's get this cleaned off. Man, this thing is like broken plastic. Dried up thermal compound. It's funny how thermal compound can go from being kind of juicy and gloopy to literally dry and rough, cracking. Alright, let's clean that up. Get some of the old dust while I'm at it. Notice whenever I am dealing with thermal paste or thermal compound in general, liquid metal, whatever, I take my gloves off because I hate when it sticks to my glove, especially liquid metal, and then you're touching other stuff, it could be a nightmare. So I just take it off just to avoid it. Alright. So we got that looking good. Alright, that on top is, it's not the best, but it can stay. Let me just clean it. I keep telling myself every time I stream I need to order more swabs. I need to order more swabs bad now. I am like a critical mass. I'll put an order in right after the stream, so I'm gonna have to update invoices anyway. So I'll just do it then. Wait, there's another antenna connection, but I don't... Where does that... Oh, is there supposed to be an antenna wire off of this? And that broke off? I don't even know anymore, man. I will say I fixed the singular issue that was wrong with this, but I don't know. There could be more lurking. Alright, let's get these screws back in. Let's get the screws back in. Let's get this out of here. A piece of my wipe. But yeah, Midnight Prince, thanks for sharing though. That is cool information and new things for me to consider. Not gonna lie, I'd be down to do another Astrobot run. Might do it on stream or something, make it interesting. I thoroughly enjoyed Astrobot, like the full release game, and Astro's Playroom for that matter. Good showcase of what the PS5 is capable of. I enjoyed that game a lot. And that was a game that easily I could just pick up and start playing over and over and over again. These days it's rare for a game to do that for me. Or like I just don't want to put it down. Happens far less these days. Nice. Oh man. Said you're welcome. Yeah, to be honest, I haven't really used my PS5 outside of Spider-Man 2, and I traded in my Xbox for the Switch 2, which I'm going to buy again for GTA 6. Gotcha. Wait, so you're gonna buy an Xbox again for GTA 6? Interested. You're not gonna play it on the PS5? This one. Alright, let's get this back shell back on as best as possible. It caused it to spill over. Get smooshed on. The Elite Series 2 stands above all the controllers on the market in my opinion. The DualSense cramps my hands. Oh, I got you. Yeah, I think the DualSense did have more innovation as a controller for this generation, but I do get what you're saying. I think my hands are more accustomed to the Xbox like irregular joystick placement, where one's down here, one's up there, versus they're symmetrical. My hands never really was a fan for that, especially for shooters. Like my brain is just like, when I have asymmetrical analog sticks, my brain's just like, ooh, we're playing a shooter or FPS game. Just like conditioned from like, you know, playing Halo on there or what have you. Um, what was I gonna say? But yeah, I do enjoy playing on the Elite controller a lot. And I do like the fact that like the DualSense Edge could have edged it out, but it lacks two back buttons, right? The Xbox has 4 back buttons, and the Xbox Elite Series 2 has 4 back buttons, and the Elite one, all of them really. And then the DualSense Edge only has 2. So that kind of killed it. And then battery life is not as good as the Xbox controller. Wasn't able to be a miracle worker, but it is functional again. Let's see what he said. Just wish Microsoft cared about quality control. Yeah, the best controller Sony ever released was the original PS1 controller. Every other one was just bad for my hands. Yeah, the original PS1 controller had longer legs. PS3 was way too slippery, and the PS4 was kind of awkward with the touchpad. Not to mention the PS2 and PS3 controller triggers sticking. Yeah, you're not wrong. The Xbox 360 controller, goated. That is a goated controller. Oh my goodness. And let's be fair, most like out of all the controllers that have been copied, I'd say the Xbox controller has been copied the most in terms of its like style, especially by like third parties. Shoot, even Nintendo copied it in a way. Alright, let's go ahead and give this a final test just to confirm functionality of that left rail. And then, what time is it? 9:39. Been streaming for about 2 3/4. Might crack this one open just to at least get an idea about it. Okay. So this one, left rail is good. Right rail is good. Let me see if I can tighten up the rail by giving these screws a little bit more. Don't want to overdo it though. Alright, that's about as much as I can give it. Alright, that's good. That's another W. Even though this thing has been through it, it'll still function. I tested the charging functionality and everything already, so that one's good. You know what, actually this one, I might have to do off screen because I want to try it in docked mode and see if it does anything. Alrighty, that's one. That's another one. I gotta ship those out. I gotta do that video. Man, there's so much to do. Alright, this one's good. Alright, Astrobot can stop jumping. I think we've... If this thing was gonna fail, it would have failed already. Okay. Actually, that is something I could do. I could, before ending, I do have to reassemble this PS5, so let me turn it off, let it cool down a little bit, and then I can go ahead and get this thing tested. Alright, I'm gonna turn it off completely. Let's get this cable wrapped up, and then we can reassemble it. Oh yeah, this thing is nice and toasty. Ooh, this thing is toasty. It's not a bad thing. That means it's dissipating heat as it should. Alright, so I'm gonna park this Nintendo Switch. Work on this PS5, get it fully reassembled to the best it can be, right? Because not everything was included. Piece of me is like, man, you should have just been super confident and just fully reassembled it now, but it's alright. It's easy to feel that way, you know, when you know it's gonna work. When you know it's working, right? Hindsight's 20/20, as they say. You know what? Maybe I should save one of these screws. Yeah, I should save one of these. Because this thing had neither, but you know, now it has one to hold it in place, and I still need one for that console, so I'll just split the difference. Gloves over here. Oh wait, he's man, can't innovate on perfection. Hey, I hear you there. I'm glad they copied Microsoft instead of being different. Cough, cough, Sony. I agree. WFix, thank you. Thank you, Midnight Prince. And Nintendo before the Switch. They couldn't make a Pro Controller to save their lives. Facts. Excuse me. It's a theory of mine that Sony messed up with the liquid metal thermal paste, and we won't know the extent of the damage until the PS5 gets really old. Honestly, the thing about liquid metal is, like, even like in the extreme PC world, it doesn't. People change it out pretty frequently, and Sony decided to put it in a console that people will expect to just run, you know? Oh yeah, I agree with you. Liquid metal can oxidize surfaces. It can do some damage. And like you said, we won't know. Like when the PS5 starts getting into the age of like like Nintendo 64 or PS1 territory, oh, we're in for a rude awakening. We are in for something to figure out like the extent of that, and oof, that's gonna be fun. Maybe someone's gonna figure out some type of alternative, or maybe as a society we'll find some type of thermal compound replacement for it, you know? That's what I'd like to hope. Maybe there'll be like a thermal pad just as good or something. I don't know. But I can hope. And I really hope so, because liquid metal, man. And like it pulls to the bottom. So like for a PS5, it's one of the few consoles I can say hands down it's better to run yours horizontally instead of vertically. Because boy oh boy, that liquid metal moves. And you can't stop gravity, so dun, dun, dun. We have one screw down here. Alright, cool. Alright, let's go ahead and get all these screws in. Oh no. Smushed it. Because it was in the way. That looks good. That's good. This needs to be routed down. Here. That's better. Good. Good. Alright, time for screws. A whole lot of them. Oh man, keep doing that. Keep headbutting the camera. I'm not used to it being this low. Doing the camera like Ocho. I forgot what song that's from. I think it's a Jeezy song. Ooh, this thing is hot. I personally think we're in a stagnant market when it comes to the console and PC hardware. The jump from PS4 to 5 is way bigger than jump from PS4 to PS5 is way bigger than from the jump to PS5 to the PS6. The more, what more could they possibly add for the price that it's at? To be fair, I can't tell the future, but I do know that the PS5 and Xbox Series X will be relevant for way longer than the PS4 and Xbox One were, unless Unreal 6 is just ungodly to run. Yeah, I agree with you. We're definitely approaching that like point of diminished returns when it comes to like performance. And I think the market is kind of realizing that, and even the consumers, because that's my theory as to why indie games are doing so well. Because I think people are over the the MSG of video games. Like everybody's doing the MSG of video games, right? It's like, oh, make graphics better, oh, higher refresh rates, but it's like your game sucks though. So like I don't care how pretty you make it, you're still polishing a turd. Like it's still a turd. And I think that's just what happens, right? We always in anything, right? Even at the Olympic level, for people to be like zero point 0.5 seconds faster in a race, they train how much more than somebody else? And it's like at the highest level it matters, but I think we got to stop chasing the highest level when it comes to video games. Or I think developers need to stop chasing that. It's costing way too much money, and it's just not worth it. Now, granted, there's things like AI on the horizon to help offload all that work. But it's like, is the consumer gonna like that? I don't know. And me, I've never been someone who cares super about graphics. Like, I don't care that much. Like, graphics are great, yay, but is the game good? This is coming from a guy who still plays Melee. You know what I mean? That game came out in 2001 with GameCube graphics. So it's like, I agree with you. I think these next generations, unless something crazy happens, like quantum computing or something next gen, I don't know. And apparently Microsoft just came out, or was it Google? I think it's Microsoft. They just came out with some type of quantum computer the size of something that used to take up rooms is now the size of like your phone, almost like an iPad, like the width of an iPad, or the surface area of an iPad, not necessarily the depth and all the other dimensions. So maybe that'll help, but you still need people to develop it, or you could do it with AI. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting future, because it's like, how do we get past the point of diminished returns? And I forgot, there was a guy who mentioned about transistors, and like every year, every decade, the transistor is going to shrink by half or something like that. It's like, well, we're at that point where you can't really shrink it anymore. He said, I can lead Xbox better, but yeah, I can lead Xbox better. The game sucks. It still doesn't even feel like we're next gen. I can lead Xbox better. Huh. What do you mean by that? I can lead Xbox better. Well, the comment didn't show up. I was saying that Phil Spencer said, oh, okay. All Xbox has to do is release good games on the platform. That's it. No more Rush BS or that stupid mobile console they have coming up. No more Game Pass anywhere, even though it's a good idea. Just release good game, good smaller games. Yeah, I do think Xbox backed themselves up in a bit of a corner with Game Pass. Like, it was good at first to make cash and revenue, but now it gives nobody a reason to buy your console. So they're making cash on the software end with that subscription service, but it's like nobody's buying your hardware, which is like a good money maker. But granted, if you're not making hardware anymore, I mean, that's a huge money saver. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting for them. They're gonna need to give people a reason to invest in their ecosystem. And just the idea of, oh, a bunch of games, I don't know if that's gonna really be viable long term. I don't know if that's a good strategy to just say, hey, we got a bunch of games. Next thing you know, they're gonna become the Arby's of video games. Like, we got the meats. It's like, yeah, but nobody wants you to. Everybody wants Chick-fil-A or whatever the heck else, you know? I think they're gonna run into that issue as well, if they're not already seeing that, you know. And you gotta remember, these companies, they have guys at the top with PhDs and study the market, and study psychology, and figure out the trends and all this garbage. And they're still trying to figure out like what people want to capitalize on it. They're getting your data, demographics, regions, age, what do people in this area at this age at this race play. All that information they have at their fingertips, but again, if you have nothing people want to play, then it doesn't really help you. So I agree. At the end of the day, make good games. But maybe they saw like they were in a bad spot, and so they sold, quote unquote, and did Game Pass. But they're gonna have to figure out a way to circle back to it. Kind of reminds me with like Destiny, how they went from everything was RNG and it was just luck based to earn your weapons, and then they went to crafting, and that was good for a little while. But then it kind of undid the hype of the game, because it's like, well, I don't have to grind anymore in a game that's about grinding. So it kind of, I don't know. It's a weird mental loop that like you solve a problem now, but you make one down the road. And I think that's ultimately the issue that they ran into. And I think now they're trying to figure out a way to compensate. And their form of compensation, it seems like Microsoft just wants to double down on the Game Pass and the online play and the remote play, which could be the play. You know, I don't know. We'll see where they end up. Because that is, yeah, that's an A play for sure. I just don't know if it's the play. I keep hitting my head on this thing. Okay. I think we're gonna have to go back to the way it was with this guy a bit higher. Cause now I keep bonking it. Now granted, is that my fault? Yes. But it's a self-induced issue. Because I wanted the camera to be a little bit closer for you guys so you guys can see. Maybe I just gotta readjust, that's all. Stop bonking on this thing. Let's see what Prince is saying. Yes. I firmly believe that if Xbox didn't have 30% market share, then Microsoft would have axed them last generation. Fair. Microsoft cares about that bottom dollar. They're not even really a competitor financially to Sony and Nintendo. Yep. A simple idea I have is lowering Game Pass to $10 and giving a discount on bigger games like 50% off instead of just free. Then why would people get, I guess just a discount, huh? That's a problem they're gonna have until they make good games. Like, I'm sorry. Like, think of Nintendo or Sony, right? When people buy those consoles, they know what games they're buying. Like, people know they're buying Mario, they know they're buying Zelda, they know they're buying God of War, they know they're buying Spider-Man. And that's why they have system sellers, because the games are good enough to warrant buying the system. Microsoft does not really have that, especially with their recent reputation with games like Halo Infinite, for example, right? Or Redfall. Now, granted, Sony had a couple blunders recently, right? There was Concord, and Marathon's looking a little shaky, even as a Bungie fan, I have to admit, with all the crap that's been happening with that. And it's like, if you do not have those games, you're wasting your time. And Nintendo has always stayed true to their bread and butter, right? They make hardware that's really cheap because it's older tech, and then they have games they know people are gonna buy no matter what. It's like, it's genius because it works. They don't ever have to worry about discounting their games because people are gonna buy Mario, they're gonna buy Zelda, they're gonna buy Metroid, or any other of their amazing IPs. And that's what happens when you just put the work in up front. It pays dividends. But Sony has done that. Microsoft has even done that. But it's like, I don't know where their IPs go. Like Crash, they sold. Like, Crash was competing with all those older IPs, like Crash and Spyro, but where are they now? They're like husks of their former self, while Mario is still going strong, generation after generation after generation. It's like, I don't know. They just don't have that same pull in the market like they used to. They just don't. Especially not Microsoft. Oh my gosh, especially not Microsoft. I don't even know how they really recover. And I get it, make good games, yes. But it's like, what? I'm curious, Midnight Prince, what Microsoft IP would you be excited to buy? Like, right now. A Microsoft IP. And they have a lot of studios now, so there's a lot to choose from. I released them on GOG or nothing but the Microsoft Store. It's tough, but they have to play ball aggressive. Flight Sim 2024 if it wasn't blends. Okay, now you're interested about Flight Sim 2024. Think of the gaming community at large. Nobody plays Flight Sim like that. Nobody treats Flight Sim like almost like at Call of Duty level or GTA level. Nobody. Or the community at large. Let me not say nobody. But think of Nintendo. Mario Kart drops. Even though people hate the price of the Switch 2, they still gonna buy it. That new Blade game, okay, fair. If it's Xbox, see, so it's not even. We don't even know if it's an Xbox IP. Like exclusive. I'm talking like Microsoft IP. So think like your Halo, your Gears, your Forza, all those games, they used to carry a lot of weight, but now it's just like, And that's the problem. Those games just don't have weight. And Sony still has games like that have weight, right? You have your Spider-Man, you have your Last of Us. They have their first-party developers that have that weight, but Microsoft just hasn't had that for a while. Psychonauts 3, yeah, that's hype. Psychonauts 3 is hype. I would be hyped for that. Psychonauts is a great great series. But even Psychonauts 2 ended up coming out for PlayStation, I think. I don't know if they're going to go back to being exclusive to Microsoft. But you see what I mean? It's even hard to even come up with games to list. But look, Nintendo's obviously at the top of that mountain, right? They have so many IPs that they just print money. I have no inkling to play any other Xbox IPs, not gonna lie. And you see, therein lies that issue. So many other people feel like you, and that's why Microsoft isn't doing too hot right now. It sucks, because, you know, especially being a gamer, right? More variety is good for us. Because more competition means everybody's going to try harder, which means we get better games in theory. But, oh boy, Microsoft has not been cooking with gas. It's like they're just cooking with methane, man. I don't know what they've been up to. And they're trying to make money with Game Pass, but long term, I don't know if it's really helping them out. Just not seeing it. Alright, so it's nice that we got this PS5 taken care of. We got that Switch Lite taken care of. We got that Switch OLED taken care of. Today was pretty good. Today was pretty good. Oh, well, before I started streaming, I worked on an Xbox Series X. Got that taken care of. That's 4 in one day, man. That's crazy. That's unheard of. That's unprecedented numbers. I just like to do you know, like a one last test. I wonder, hopefully I could just pick up where it left off. No? Okay. I guess I did completely power off, so I can't expect the game to just pick up where it was. Now this Switch, I'm gonna work on this off stream, but I've been streaming for a little over 3 hours now. I think I'm gonna, because the problem is the display doesn't turn on, and I'm wondering if it's just a display issue, or if it's like, well, if it's a display issue, or if it's like a chip issue. And what might help me determine that is using a dock and seeing what happens there. Hold on, let me just get to that point where I can stress test the console a little bit. Man, I enjoyed Astrobot so much. Like, I honestly want to replay the game. But I went so ham on it. Like, I 100%ed the heck out of it. And every time they dropped new levels, I was there. Alright, that's good. Alright, we're stress testing again. Halo, Gears, Forza Motorsports are buns. FH5 was the best launch game, not gonna lie. What's FH5? Forza Horizon 5? Yes, Forza Horizon 5 slap. But that's still like, racing games they don't have mass appeal. Usually your adventure games, your story-driven games, and your COD basically have the most and your GTA. And it's like, they're not tapping into none of that. I hope, I don't want to see what happened to Sega happen to Microsoft. That's all I want to say. I do not want to see that at all. Like, no part of me wants to see that. If they keep playing around, man, it can happen. It can happen to the best. Nobody saw it coming up for Sega, because Sega was so ahead of the curve. Okay, so what's actually going on with this power supply? You know it's faulty. It looks like someone tried to crack this thing open. Maybe they damaged something in here. I want to look inside, but I kind of don't even want to waste my time with it. It's almost like this thing is like plastic welded together, but definitely not. Yeah, I don't want to. It's like, is it even worth it at this point? Like, I know it's bad. Is it worth trying to fix it? Probably not. Probably not worth the time. Um, so we have the damaged Joy-Con rail, the OLED rail. Put this in this little baguito. And send it off into the sunset. Alright, what is this? Oh yeah. Parts PS5. So I used the left one, so the only one left now is the right one. Oh man. Let's see, I'll put right only. Okay. Alright, now I gotta clean up. So I don't like my workbench looking all disheveled. Gotta put parts back. Honestly, what's the point of keeping this? I mean, technically you can replace the board. It's not a bad thing to have the metal, but the chance of someone damaging just the metal is very unlikely. And when you order this part, it usually comes with both, so whatever, I'll just keep it in this box. Won't hurt. It's a lot of components, man. Can't believe that power supply was doing me dirty. You know what? How much is a replacement power supply? I'm curious. Let me check my vendor. Man, I really did enjoy Forza. That was fun. Okay. Game consoles. 20. Okay, so it seems like a replacement PS5 power supply is about $40. Let me see what model version of it was. This one. This one was an ADP 400DR, which is the cheaper one. I was thinking output 31 amps. That's pretty intense. Okay. Alright. Well, that's what it was. This guy was the culprit. Anywho. You know, I'm debating whether I should reassemble this thing or not. And I kind of want to just to protect the motherboard. Yeah. I'll reassemble it. Because it's just gonna stay here and make it be a mess. I don't like that. So let's reassemble it. And then that'll be about the end of the stream. Might clean up. A lot of good parts on here, man. There's plenty of good parts. Have a disk drive. It really did a number on this thing, man. Oh, okay. So it just snaps in like that. Uh-huh. Darn it. I didn't have it routed right. Okay, so this snaps in. Huh. I've never taken one of these off of these power supplies before. Oh, sorry, I didn't have it in frame. I'm yapping about it. Y'all not even able to see. Yapaholics Anonymous. Alright, cool. Well, that can't be right either. Man, how do you... what's the proper routing for this one? Alright. There's that. It's supposed to go the other way. Fighting with this thing, trying to figure out how to properly route it. What if it goes like this instead? Fighting with the wrong thing. Oh, that needs to be resoldered if it ever wants to be used again. Oh, there it is. Just putting it in the wrong way. Now I know. Well, it goes like this. So I'm like, man, this should not be this difficult. Okay, that makes sense. That's working as intended. This antenna is cooked now, but that's alright. Just needs to be resoldered. There we go. Oh man. Alright, Midnight Prince. It was nice to have you here, man. I think it's the first time I've seen you like chat actively. Either way, nice to have you with us, man. It was nice chatting with you. Alright, so we got a little bit more to reassemble before I'm gonna call it. I want to get this thing put back together. I don't know if I'll put all the screws back, but I definitely want to put the hardware back because I want to protect the motherboard even though it's not working. Because I'm pretty sure it's that controller, man. Like that SSD controller is the only thing I can think of. I think it's Dusty. When did this happen? Oh, okay. Let's get this guy out the way. Get this guy out the way. Ooh. Alright, there's that. Good. 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 Alright. Oopsies. Excuse me. Funny, while I'm reassembling this thing, stress testing that thing. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Knick knack paddywhack. Alright, let's get this screw. Get some screws in just to hold it in place. I think I'm gonna put all these in a bag. I don't want to leave the disk drive and the fan out, because those are like, at least the disk drive, because that one, man, you can, those go bad. It's nice to have one. Ow. Yeah, I like that. Really warm. Night. Oh, Gene. Alright, Gene. Have a good night. Yeah, I'm not staying up too much longer. I just want to wrap this thing up a bit more, then I'm calling it night too. Alrighty, Gene. Oh, don't tell me I bumped the camera again. Probably did. Alrighty. Alright, actually, let me get all these screws in a bag, and then I will tape them to this inner sanctum. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab a zippy lock bag. Zippy lock bag acquired. I can say that because I officially beat Metroid Prime recently. Every time you get something, it says whatever you got acquired. Not required, acquired. Missile expansion acquired. Yoga flame acquired. Alrighty. All screws. Let's get that taped. you'll have enough to puncture through. Yeah, alright, cool. Alright, parts unit is back. Intact. Taking up way less space. Alright, everybody. I think we're gonna call it a night here. Almost done wrapping up. My workspace. Tidy that up. Put that there. Put that here. Turn this off. Put the cap on that. I need to order cotton swabs or foam swabs. This thing used to be full, believe it or not. Alright, everybody. Zip it up. Zip it up and zip it out. Zippity doo dah. I know the reference. I get the reference. The wrap it up box. But alright, everybody. Thank you for tuning in for another stream. We had a lot of successes. We fixed PS5, Switch OLED, Switch Lite. That's pretty good. And we got Astrobot jumping in the background, so that's plenty of stress testing. This thing has not shut off on its own. It's been working just fine, so it was the power supply. But alright, everybody. Till next time. Peace!